Okay, this is the vegetable patch in autumn, and most things have really come to an end now, but we are completely overrun with this stuff, which is chickweed. And actually this stuff grows so well on our vegetable patch as a weed. I sometimes wonder why we even bother growing vegetables at all, because it's edible, and it's actually not just edible, but it's fantastic. It's really good stuff. So I'm going to pick some chickweed, but let me show you how to recognise chickweed. For a start, it grows. It has this sort of sprawling habit where it grows in great big bunches that branch and spread across the vegetable patch. But when you look really, really closely, I don't know if you'll be able to see it on this camera, you'll find that up one side of the stem on the chickweed, there's this tiny little row of hairs along one side of the stem, and often you'll find that when it gets to a node here, it switches sides and grows down the other side as well. Quite a simple looking plant apart from that, just kind of oval, pointy leaves. And these tiny little insignificant flowers, which tiny little white petals that you often don't even see. The main thing that you need to not pick in mistaking it for chickweed, and it often grows alongside it, is this stuff. And I get this growing together with chickweed, so let's have a look. That's chickweed. This stuff here is called sunspurge, and it's very poisonous, and you don't want to be eating that, so make sure that you don't pick indiscriminately. The way to recognise sunspurge, I mean, it's a different plant for a start, but if you're gathering great handfuls of this, you might accidentally pick some. But sunspurge, when you break it, produces this milky white latex out of the stems, which is actually toxic and can give you a skin irritation, especially if you have a sensitive skin. So I'm going to be very careful, pick only chickweed from this patch here, and then we'll take it indoors and see what we can make out of it. And you might notice I'm only really picking the top shoots of the chickweed, because it's such a sprawling plant. It's not worth gathering up the whole bunch of the stuff, because it grows along the ground, and especially if it's been raining like it was last night, soil gets splashed up onto the lower parts of the plant, so it's not worth picking the whole thing. Just pick the top parts, which are actually the most tender and also probably the cleanest. Okay, so from the garden I've got this nice little colander of chickweed. I'm also just going to pick, there's just one or two leaves of chives still here, worth picking. It's a little bit cold for these now, but they're hanging on. So I'm just going to pick a couple of little bits of chives for flavour. So let's take this indoors and see what we can make out of it. Right, so I've got a large bunch of chickweed here, which I've rinsed thoroughly, checked for foreign bodies such as bugs and bits of dirt, and I've just given it another check over just to make sure that I haven't accidentally picked anything else with the chickweed. So that's just going to set that aside to drain. And what we're going to make is chickweed pakora. So to start off, I need this stuff, which is gram flour, which is chickpea flour. So I'm just going to put a couple of tablespoons of gram flour in a bowl, about a tablespoonful of ordinary wheat flour, that's self-raising flour, that will give the batter some lift, about a teaspoonful of curry powder. You can go really spicy with this, or you can just, that's just mild curry powder, because not everybody in my family likes it very spicy. A little pinch of salt, just mix that together, and we're just going to put enough water in here to make a kind of thickish batter. Tiny bit more water. Okay, that's about right. So it's a thick, sort of gloopy batter. Don't want to go any thinner than that, or it would just run off the chickweed, and any thicker than that and we'd have a dough and it would be difficult to mix in. And when you're making this, I mean, obviously if you add too much water and it goes too runny, just put a bit more flour in. You can adjust it as you go. It's really not a precise art. The chives, I'm just going to chop up to pieces. Again, not very precise or anything, it's just hack it all up into chunks, about like that. Okay, and that goes straight into our bowl of batter. same with the chickweed. I'm just going to roughly hack it up into chunks, stalks and all. If you're making, you can eat chickweed in a salad, and if you're doing that, you probably do need to discard some of the tougher stems, because they can tend to get a little bit stringy as the plant ages. But we're going to be frying this, so I can just chop everything up together. So that again just all goes straight into the bowl with the batter and the chives. Now we're just going to give that a little mix together with a fork. Get that all nicely mixed together. That's good. So that's what I wanted. Just enough batter really to coat the chickweed, but not to drown it completely. So I'm just going to take small spoonfuls of my chickweed mixture in batter, and I'm just going to drop those straight into the batter. And you know it's hot enough when they start sizzling straight away. Not going to overcrowd the pan. Just going to put maybe 4 in there to start with. Just going to let those sizzle away. Okay, so they're more or less done on one side now, and you probably can't really see this on the video, but the way I can tell that is that I can start to see bubbles coming through the middle of the little patties. So I'm just going to grab a appropriate utensil, get underneath, flip it over, and you can see it's golden and crispy on one side. Just going to press that down so it squeezes some of the batter out from in between the chickweed and gives it a nice crispy side on the other side. There we go. There we go. And another minute on that side. Okay, so here we go. So those are done now. They've had a minute on either side, and I'm just going to drop them onto the absorbent paper to drain and get the next batch in the pan. Okay, so here we are. This is my chickweed pakora, which I've just made for my snack lunch. I'm just going to have a couple of these, I think, with a selection of chutneys. This is a plum and ginger chutney that some friends gave me. I haven't even tried yet. Oh, that smells good. And I've got some mango chutney as well, so we'll see what this is. So, my chickweed pakora chutney. It's really, really good. The chickweed has got this fantastic earthy, nutty taste to it. Just really delicious, and probably very good for you as well. Actually, it's chickweed's packed with vitamins and minerals, much more so than some of the vegetables that you might find in the shops. I think it's got more vitamin C and iron in it than spinach, and it's delicious. And the thing I like actually about it also is growing this chickweed was completely zero effort, so eating the weeds is sometimes easier than growing vegetables. That's really nice. I'm actually going to have another one.